Guys, Monkey D. Me is back. Funnily enough, I think it was actually in this very room that I first created that moniker for myself. But you know what else is back and better than ever? One Piece. Because yeah, for the past month and a half, we've been having one chapter, then a break, then another chapter, then a break, but it seems like we're getting back to regular scheduled programming. And that's good because this current chapter of One Piece, we're starting something crazy. All I can say is Oda. Are we really about to get into that too? To understand what I'm talking about, we have to get into it. So lock in, guys, because this is gonna be the chapter 1183 review. But before we get into it, y'all, you already know what to do. Like the video, okay? Hey, I'm waiting. Subscribe to the channel for more anime content just like this every week. And share it around with all your friends who love the series. You know we always say here, let's get it going. Now, when I first read the chapter title, I was a bit confused because it said Good Mermaid. And I was like, okay, good morning, mermaid, what's going on? Oh, it'll make sense. So the chapter actually starts off with Imu addressing Ragnir of all people. And Imu's just like, Ragnir, it's been a while, huh? I know that you've been looking for someone who can enact your revenge on me because obviously it's me. And then Imu is like, Loki and Straw Hat Luffy, the two of you could never become my servants. So instead, I'm just gonna wipe you out, just like I did with Dozan. Who is Dozan? We don't know, but I have some guesses, with my best guess right now being that this is most likely the real name of Joy Boy. And in that vein, right off the bat, what we have basically is Imu being like, Ragnir, you remember what I did to Joy Boy, and of course you want revenge on me for that, but it's not gonna go your way. If Dozan really is Joy Boy's name and we just gotta casually drop like this, whew. And as he says that, the battle between Loki and Imu is still going on, which is shocking that it's been going on for this long. No one can tell me that he's not top 2 now. He is literally fighting top 1 in the verse. But Loki, now in his full dragon form, uses Ragna 2 Jin Blades, bringing down 2 lightning bolts that strike at Imu. But Imu at the same time creates the Sword of Wrath, Gram, and just uses it to slash away the lightning. I'm sorry, I can't wait to get Imu fighting in the anime. It's going to be beautiful. Meanwhile, we cut to the Western Village where the second part of the chapter takes place, and that's basically all about the rain god Zaza that's pulled up. So of course the kids are being taken away and you got all the adult giants being like, yo, get back up, we're going to save our children. And you got Chopper there. Chopper's just like, hold up, wait, I just tended your wounds. If you go and, reopen them, you could die. But then you have Ripley just being like, listen up, little pirate, I understand what you're saying, but right now my kid's life is in danger, so my life doesn't mean anything to me. And I'm not gonna lie, Ripley is actually one of my favorite Elbaf characters. I think Oda is writing her really well because he's not making her to be over the top important, but the times that we do see of her, she's showing conviction, being a really well-written mom. If only this was the treatment he did for the Scabbards, because Lord knows that the Scabbards didn't need as much attention as they ended up getting. Meanwhile, of course, you just have Drampa being like, well, it's only 7 kids this time instead of 10. Hey, we'll take what we can get. And of course, as we transition away, we see that Sanji is arriving on the scene wondering what the hell is going on. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it seems like we're getting a setup where Sanji is about to fight a woman, because obviously it's going to be Sanji versus Killingham, but Killingham is going to control Zaza to do the fighting. So is this where we get a true moment for Sanji as far as actually getting past his oh, I can't fight a woman, I can't damage a woman thing, and when the chips are down, actually locking in? Because if that actually happens and we get genuine Sanji character development on top of a really good fight, Elbaf is going to become my favorite arc ever, even above Enies Lobby, which I didn't ever think I would utter those words. Now, y'all not gonna believe me when I say this, but the last part of the chapter is entirely focused on Brook. Because then we cut back to Brook's group, which, to remind you, is Brook, Usopp, Nami, and Jinbei. And they're actually talking about Gunko. Usopp is like, wait, yeah, I know this person, you wanted to confront her. I only pulled up because things were getting dire, but why were you there? Which is funny, Usopp, because my question was, why were you there? Nami's just like, is she an enemy from your past? What's going on? Brook is like, nah, she's not an enemy, but definitely somebody that I wish I'd never had to see her face again. And of course, Brook reveals that this is somebody from his past even before the Rumbar Pirates, because he's like, if this is the same person that I know, she would be 77 right now. Nami's just like, well, so obviously it can't be the same person because this person's a celestial dragon. And Brook responds, well, yeah, but the last time that I saw the person who I'm thinking of, she was actually on her way to marry Joa for some sort of, I don't know, I guess the reverie. I don't know if y'all can hear, it is pouring outside. At that moment, that's when I think Frankie pulls back up and he's just like, yo, Brook, she's frozen solid right now. And I can't tell if she's alive, but honestly, it's probably for the best. Usopp is like, either way, even if it is the same person, she's clearly evil now because she's laying siege to Elbaf. And Brook is like, well, you know, you say that, but she also is the one who released our arrow restraints. And in doing so, it seemed like she recognized me and told me to run away. So that's when we get what seems to be Gunko's 3 personalities. Her original personality, which I assume is kind of like Harold, where she's being influenced by the contract but not literally taken over yet. The personality that saved them, which is the one that actually knows Brook, her actual real self. And the demon form, which is when Emu literally takes over her body. And that's when the Straw Hats also start piecing together, like from what they've seen today with the demons and everything like that, it's very possible that the same thing happened to Gunko. Which, go back in the chapter reviews, y'all, I literally said in the whole Harold part that is gonna have an influence on Brook's story. Then here go Jinbei. He's just like, listen, I'm sorry if this may come off as insensitive, Brook, but we need to know whether she's an ally or whether we need to kill her. We can't make a move until you decide, but just know, like, that's a possibility. And that really just stumped me, because I'm like, Jinbei, you ain't gonna do anything. Not only do I not think that you've ever taken a life before, but then on top of that, I don't think you could even if you wanted to. Remember that this was literally the group that 4v1 Gunko and still lost, to the extent where Nami was even being like, yo, Jinbei, you're with us. How could we lose when you're with us? You're not that reliable after all. But you just have Brook being like, I don't know. I was so young and it was so long ago. But y'all, that is when we get into the second Brook flashback. Oda, are we serious? We knew it was coming, but this soon? And there was once a country of music where instrument shops lined the streets. And before we get into it, y'all, he's not talking about Elegia, the place where Uta's from. It would be dope because that would be a really nice movie tie-in, but it don't exist. We cut to 70 years ago in the West Blue at 4 a.m. in the morning. You have Brook singing a song called Good Mermaid, where he talks about, oh, it's good morning, it's time for everybody to wake up, and in the meantime, I'm gonna dream about how much I want to travel the world and meet some mermaids. So okay, Brook was basically the same character back then as he was now. That's when we learn about the kingdom of Aspertia, the country of instrument makers. And just as dawn is literally peeking out with the sun just coming up, you got Brook jumping in the air, almost looking like the witching hour boy, and just playing his music. And it is not lost on me that this is a parallel to the Nika silhouette. But of course, you have all kinds of different people in the country who think of Brook in different ways, because some people are just like, oh, Brook, he's so amazing, like, yes, please. And others are just like, please get my gun so I can shut him up. So then we cut to Aspertia Palace, where we got some guards asking their captain Brook to teach him the Swift Slash. Because remember, we did know from before Brook was the leader of a battle convoy, so I'm guessing he's the leader of whatever guards these are. And then as they're both just singing, that's when we get introduced to 20-year-old Brook and 7-year-old Princess Shuri. So they're just walking happily, and you got Shuri being like, you think I got strong just like mama today, Brook? And you got Brook with hearts in his eyes just being like, ah, your mother is so radiant, Lady Candle. But Shuri's just like, yo, Brook, stop falling for my mom and for a married woman. What's wrong with you? Brook is just like, what are you even talking about? Love is freedom. At that moment, they're passing by the gardens, and that's when we get introduced to the king of Aspertia, Leuven. He's just tending his gardens, but he's like, yo, Brook, I will execute you for treason. And then Brook is just like, dang, bro, I mean, your majesty, you're so harsh. Revealing to us that Brook is actually the brother of the king. Leuven's just like, I bet you're planning to assassinate me. And Brook is just like, hell no, I'm letting Mother Nature do its thing. I'm sorry, I really do like this whole scene, but again, I just have to think about the fact that Brook is the brother of the king, which I guess makes sense as to how he got to be the captain, because you know, nobles that aren't the king, they usually default to those kind of positions. That's when Shuri is just like, hey Brook, you don't gotta worry about trying to wait for my dad to die to get with my mom, because I'll marry you when I grow up. Shuri, that's a 13-year gap. I don't think so. Whole time you just got Leuven weird ass talking about, yo, that's something that kids usually say to their dads. By the way, Brook sticks to morals, and he's just like, nah. I don't want a bride with a runny nose. Which I guess is just like a funny way of like kind of diffusing the situation. So good on you, Brook. As a bunch of shenanigans is going on with them, that's when we get news that there's trouble. As it turns out, riders from a gang pulled into town and are looking to kidnap Candle. Queen Candle is currently at the opera house, and it looks like the Moran family, whoever that is, wants to force her to marry their boss. So obviously, most people are in a panic. The king is just like, please send a message to the opera house to not let anybody out. For whatever reason, all the snails are on D&D, which is really blowing me that that's a thing that can happen. So Shuri's like, Brook, please, you have to do something. They're gonna take my mom away. And Brook is just like, the Moran family? Why do I feel like I met them at the harbor earlier today? That's when we cut to the opera house and see a bunch of riders just outside waiting for Moran to come out. And Brook's just like, my royal bro, don't worry about it. Remember that our queen is strong, so even if she was fighting for herself, there was no way that she was going to be defeated. But beyond that, it seems like they didn't even recognize that when I saw them earlier today, I already cut them all down. And that's when we see that right at that moment, every single one of the riders gets slashed and knocks unconscious. And I want y'all to think about how crazy this is. This guy Brook cut them hours earlier and the delayed effect only happened now. I'm sorry, he's the 5th strongest after Jinbei. I can't take Frankie or Robin seriously no more. We are getting Brook feats in big 2026. This, I would have never thought. With everybody saying, of course, it was Master Brook's 3-pace hum notch slash. At that moment, the queen herself is coming out of the opera house, oblivious to everything, but obviously not really threatened. And that's when it's revealed that at that time, there were 2 main stars in the Kingdom of Aspersia. One of them was the former commander of the Royal Guard, and now the current queen, Candle. We see her, and of course, Oda gave her the traditional beautiful woman design. I'm not gonna lie, Candle fire, no pun intended. And the other star, of course, was the current captain of the guard, Brook, a master of the swift slash who could cut people so quick that they didn't even realize they got cut. Y'all, it is absolutely insane to me that we're here. The fact that we can genuinely say we are getting a Brook flashback this late in the game, I'm sorry, I'm excited personally. If you would have told me that we were getting Brook's flashback now, I would have told you, well, I know it's coming, but right now it's kind of crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, Oda, I'm here for it. So give me whatever it is that you need to give. It also makes sense because with Gunko being here now, this is probably the best time to address it. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I did enjoy this chapter. I mean, I don't think it was anything mind-boggling, but for the way that the flashback started and everything like that, I'm not gonna lie, it's a strong 8.5 for me. I need y'all to let me know what you think about it in the comments below, especially what you think we're gonna see out of this flashback, which of course I expect to be much shorter than the Loki flashback. Now that is the end of the video, y'all, but of course you know what to do as you head out. Like, comment, subscribe, all the great stuff that YouTube wants. That's gonna be all for me. I'll catch y'all on the next one, and always remember, one piece, one life. And 2 flashbacks in an arc, and I'm talking like full-length flashbacks. Oda, you're being ambitious with Elbaf. I like it.